3 months. That's how long it had been since she walked away. 3 months since the papers were signed. Since the silence filled every room. Since Mark Carter started learning how to live alone again. Pause. And then, on a cold, rainy night, she came back. Door creak SFX. Standing on his doorstep, soaked, shaking, eyes filled with regret. The same woman who said she was done. Now whispering. Soft, emotional tone. I made a mistake. Pause. But by the time Mark heard the truth, it was already too late. Mark and Emily Carter were married for 25 years. A quiet life in suburban Ohio. 2 kids. A home they built together. A routine that never seemed to break. Until one day it did. No warning. No explanation. Just divorce papers and a woman who refused to explain why. Beat. So what really happened? Why did Emily leave so suddenly? What was she hiding? And more importantly, why did she come back, begging for forgiveness? Pause. Because the truth was far more disturbing than anyone imagined. Mark Carter was the kind of man people respected. At 52, he had spent most of his life building something stable. A construction business, a home, a reputation. He believed in loyalty, in routine, in showing up every single day. Emily was different. At 48, she had spent years caring for others. A former nurse, now a stay-at-home mom. Kind, social, present. But somewhere along the way, she started to feel invisible. Pause. Their marriage wasn't broken. Not obviously. No shouting matches. No dramatic fights. Just something quieter. Distance. Slow tone. The kind that creeps in slowly. Until one day, you realize you're living with a stranger. Mini pause. Emily began changing. At first, small things. More time on her phone. Late nights, scrolling, typing, smiling at messages she never explained. Mark noticed. Of course he did. But like many men, he told himself it was nothing. Stress. Boredom. A phase. Pause. He was wrong. It happened on a Tuesday. No argument. No warning. Just a knock at the door. And a man holding an envelope. Divorce papers. Beat. Mark thought it was a mistake. It had to be. But when he found Emily, she didn't deny it. Reenactment tone. I just can't do this anymore. Pause. No tears. No anger. Just distance. Cold. Final. Music dips. And just like that, 25 years ended in a sentence. The days that followed felt unreal. Emily packed her things quietly. No explanations. No closure. Just silence. Pause. And then she was gone. At first, Mark blamed himself. But then, things didn't add up. The late nights. The hidden messages. The way she had already emotionally checked out. Beat. There had to be someone else. And everything he found seemed to confirm it. Mark started digging. Not obsessively, but enough to understand what had happened to his life. Phone records. Bank statements. Old emails. Pause. There were patterns. Unknown numbers. Unfamiliar charges. Late-night activity that didn't make sense. Beat. But no clear answers. Meanwhile, Emily had started a new life. Or at least, that's what it looked like. New apartment. New routine. Freedom. Pause. Tone darkens. But something wasn't right. She wasn't happier. If anything, she seemed afraid. And then, 3 months later, everything changed. It was late. Mark wasn't expecting anyone. Knock sound. When he opened the door, there she was. Emily. Soft, emotional. Not confident. Not distant. Broken. I need to tell you the truth. And what she said next changed everything. There was no affair. No secret lover. No second life. Instead, there was someone else. But not the way Mark thought. Months before the divorce, Emily had met someone online. At first, harmless. Friendly conversations. Attention she hadn't felt in years. But then, it changed. The messages became controlling, manipulative, and eventually, threatening. The person she trusted was never real. She had been targeted. They had her photos, her private conversations. They threatened to expose everything. To her husband, to her children, unless she followed instructions. One of those instructions was to leave her life behind. So she did. By the time Emily realized the truth, it was too late. The person behind it disappeared. No trace. No closure. Just damage. And now she was back, standing in front of the man she left, hoping somehow it wasn't over. Tone shifts to Mark's perspective. But Mark wasn't the same man anymore. Slow, heavy. The house felt different. The silence felt permanent. The trust was gone. And sometimes, that's the one thing you don't get back. Emily had told the truth, but the truth didn't fix anything. Because sometimes, the consequences of our decisions outlast the reasons we made them. So what would you have done? If you were Mark, would you forgive her? Or walk away for good? Let me know in the comments. And if you think this story was shocking, there's another one, even darker than this. Subscribe for more real stories that stay with you.